Thank you for waiting. We're back here with game two between HypE Esports and Glacial Academy after an amazing game one. I'm Random Minion Kosh and I'm super excited for game two here between the two teams. Game one saw Glacial Academy in their inaugural game here of the Silver Division just popping off, absolutely just wrecking the side of HypE Esports, and HypE Esports did not go down easy. They fought right to the bitter end. Looked like they were going to be able to make a reversal here with the Baron, but at the last second, it just all fell apart because Ronin and Bombar were just too far ahead. And so coming into game two here, we've got HypE Esports on the blue side for this game. Glacial going to be on the red side here. And there has been a change here, a substitution. It's going to be Rami Lux coming in on the side of HypE Esport, replacing 3-Pick Gamer. And 3-Pick Gamer did get some massive misfortune bullet times just raking across the entirety of Glacial. So definitely played really well, but I guess they're just switching it up. Might want to change up the champion pool here. And looking at the picks and bans coming out, we see, as expected, the Pike ban. You cannot give Bombar that Pike. He absolutely just destroyed the bot lane, and in the team fights with those executes, he claims to have missed a couple, but honestly, you couldn't have seen it from the game, the way he was just bouncing one after another from one kill to the next. We see the set ban as well, the Diana ban. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, that is sorry. 3-Pick Gamer not being rotated out. It's actually going to be 3-Pick Gamer going to the jungle and Rami Lux going to ADC. So it was actually the previous jungler who is escaping my mind right now. Let me just check who that was for HypE previously. Nonstop Brain stepping out to let 3-Pick go into the jungle. Pardon me. Yeah, so a bit of a change up here, and that will still mean a change in the champion pools here for the side of HypE Esports, and that will change up their strategies quite a bit. So, sorry, going back to the bans from HypE Esports, it's going to be Pike, Set, Diana, Fizz, Yasuo. So they've added yet another assassin against Glacial Academy, targeted at Ronin there, and little wonder with the way he played that Diana last game. Absolute monster game, highest damage on his team there. And in terms of their Glacial Academy's bans, they're going to ban out the Amumu, Teemo, Xerath, Ziggs, and Galio. So not a lot of changes there. They are going to switch up a little bit into the mid lane, just banning out the Ziggs there for Tommy Peppers. Tommy Peppers did manage to output quite a bit of damage, surviving a lot of those fights despite some of the rough initiates there. Was often the surviving carry and continued to pump out consistent damage. So they just want to make sure that Tommy doesn't get that again here. Played very well in lane as well against the Diana. Now in terms of picks, HypE Esports still gonna go with that Maokai first pick for rings. It's worked last split, it's worked thus far this split, and even last game did very decently into King Tyruse's Ornn as well. So it's a solid pick, and they're gonna pick themselves up a Kindred as well for 3-Pick Gamer. Fits his style considering he was just playing ADC. They're putting him ADC just in a different lane effectively right now into the jungle here. The Ashe as well coming up for Rami Lux into the bot lane. Orianna and Lulu gonna round up that composition here. So very interesting composition. They do have the ball delivery system for Orianna. Can put it on Kindred because Kindred a little short range for an ADC champion. Sometimes does find herself in a bit of an odd position in the enemy team. Can put it on Rings. That's your traditional ball delivery as well. They will be able to start fights with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and lots of survivability despite only having the one tank. There's the Kindred ultimate. There's the Lulu Wild Growth as well. There are shields for days coming out of Orianna. And on the side of Glacial Academy, they actually have changed up the composition quite a bit. They have to adapt here with all the bans being thrown out. So they're going to go with the Ornn still for King Tyrus in the top lane. In the jungle, yet another tanky jungler. Mundo did struggle a little bit with the ganks, but is still going to be solid there for themselves. A very tanky good initiate single target champion for themselves, the Warwick there. And in the bot lane, they're going to switch it up a bit. Kog'Maw wasn't banned, but they did ban the Pyke, and I guess they just want to switch it up. They're going to go with a Jhin Swain bot lane here for themselves. Now, Swain, not a very commonly seen support actually in the Coalition League. Only one player really played, and that was DOV Nightfall's Web Hippo last split when he was playing support position. So I'm looking very much forward to seeing it here because it became a must ban against Web Hippo in the Coalition League Spring Split. I'm very curious to see if Bombar can make it a must ban on him as well, and if he can, that's going to be monstrous. He'll have two supports that must be banned, and Ronan, despite having 3 assassins banned against him, is still going to pick up an assassin, this time in the form of Qiyana for himself. Qiyana can be an absolute monster mid laner. We've seen Qiyana's just wreck in the Dragon Pit, in the Baron Pit with those walls. It really enables the ultimate coming out of Qiyana to just wreck people there. And with that, both teams have loaded onto the Rift. So we're going to head on over as well, join them there as the two teams are loaded in. And I'm really not expecting a level 1 invade coming out of HypE Esports. They are pinging up there, but I don't think they have the stronger level 1 team here. They don't really have any real hard CC at level 1 aside from the Maokai coming out of rings. So both teams looking like they're just gonna spread out here, potentially get a deep ward on the top side from HypE Esports.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, but there we go. That's the deep ward onto the Raptor pit there. Want to make sure they know where Pyrrhe starts as well. Pyrrhe on that Mundo did manage to invade quite aggressively early, surprisingly considering that Dr. Mundo not known to be necessarily the safest or fastest of junglers, also not necessarily the best duelist, but this time on the Warwick much safer jungler and also very strong in the 1v1s early, has the sustain as well. If he can get onto Epic Gamer there, might be able to take him down quite quickly in a early game duel. And if we look at what both teams want here with their drafts on the side of HypE Esports, they can afford to scale into the late game a little bit. They've got 2 AD carries, happy to scale. Orianna scales really well as well. Maokai, a ton of tankiness. So they can afford to just sit back, look for that mid game, and then pick their engages at will. When you look on the side of Glacial Academy though, their draft is a little bit more of a mixed bag here. Looking like they're going just for lane dominance, lane kingdom, and that could be a possibility here. We didn't really see them absolutely dominate in lane in game 1. At best, the bot lane kind of did, and even then it wasn't a complete smash. It was really in the skirmishes and good rotations, good fights in the Drake area early game that got them super far ahead. So it looks like they're just looking potentially for lane dominance here, and they'll have to rely mostly on catches come the mid game and late game. They could potentially have really strong fights around the Baron and Dragon Pits here with the Qiyana, but they'll have to rely on that. And Pyrrhe once again aggressively going for that invade, but this actually he's getting invaded on, pardon me, by Epic Gamer. Epic Gamer returning the favor from last game, will be able to pick up first blood for himself there onto Pyrrhe. And that deep vision ward doing work that they planted in that level 1 there. Gonna set Pyrrhe behind, and this is gonna be very, very detrimental for the side of Glacial Academy as well, because they are the ones who want to have that strong early game, and yet they lose their jungler, and that's gonna be a lot of pressure taken away for the next little while. Pyrrhe desperately gonna try and come back into the game. Bot lane though, Bombar Gankin's landing quite a few good snares here, able to pull them in, do some damage. But Rami Lux and Fruff able to trade back. Lulu really safe support here. So doing quite evenly in this bot lane for now. And mid lane, Ronan able to apply the pressure onto Tommy Pepper. Somewhat expected with the Qiyana, with the Assassin, with the burst there. Very similar again to game 1 where Tommy Pepper is going to play a bit defensively here. And Ronan is going to have to take advantage of this. I do expect Ronan to be the center of Glacial Academy's game plan again for game 2 here. is going to get marked up by Epic Gamer, and a good flash from Epic, but will be matched by Ronin. And Epic might go down here. The burst coming out of Qiyana is absolutely massive here. Will be able to pick himself up a kill for himself, and that will be nice. Will help to negate some of that CS differential that has been forming up a little bit in here, and will also help Pyria as well to be able to close the lead, the gap, the deficit that he had from feeding that first blood over to Epic Gamer. And as I was saying before, Ronin managed to find Epic on the invade there. I do expect Ronin to be sort of the linchpin here for the side of Glacial Academy, because when you've got an assassin like that, you need to take advantage of it. But the exhaust coming down, that's exhaust from Tommy Peppers. Epic Gamer able to get damage down. Can they get the burst? Yes, they can. And Epic gonna pick himself back up the buffs that he had temporarily left in the care of Ronin. And he's gonna have 2 kills for himself right now. Epic able to skill up potentially harder this game than he did last game as an ADC. And they might dive Pyria here, but the fear is good. Does manage to stop the dive for now, and Epic gonna give the buffs over to Pyria. The transfer is complete, and now Tommy Peppers getting burnt down. Has to be a little careful, but does manage to flash himself to safety there. And one thing to note is that Tommy did take the exhaust there. Not a very common summoner we see on mid laners, but it's a really solid pick into the Qiyana, into Assassins. If you can survive the initial burst there, the exhaust will be really solid in terms of just stopping the follow-up damage and even turning some of those fights. Bot lane, yet another snare landing onto Fluff, gets smashed here from Bombar. The shield gonna put quite a bit of defense up, but he'll still have to flash to keep himself alive, as the damage coming out there from both Bombar and Mazir can be quite painful there. And I can see from chat, it looks like Qiyana not the optimal pick. They were considering Tristana pick, and we have seen Tristana actually in the league before. I believe it was in the Noxus division, and it actually did amazingly well in that mid lane. A lot of damage. It can go AD. The just sheer damage that comes out of the explosive shot and the jumps there in the early game can do a lot of damage there. So it could have been viable, but unfortunately, yeah, they went with the Qiyana instead, and it can work as well. Like we said, Qiyana makes neutral objective takes really, really dangerous. If you're fighting in those pits, the Qiyana ultimate can hit everybody in the pit simultaneously. So can definitely be really solid. And now in the bot lane, Epic Gamer going for the Herald there with Tommy Peppers, and all of a sudden Mazir Lane and Bombar find themselves being collapsed on 2v4. Will both have to burn their flashes to get out, and this could spell a Cloud Drake for HypE Esports right now, as they do have the initiative, they do have priority on this Drake here right now. And Ronin did use the ultimate, is not available, so will not be able to effectively contest this, and it looks like it's gonna be Drake going the way of HypE Esports. First Drake, Cloud Drake, and that will be ultimate cooldowns there for themselves. And HypE Esports finding themselves in a much better position this game too, compared to how game 1 started for them. For one, they've navigated the first Drake without giving up an almost ace here. So already a much better start. And that is not good news for the side of Glacial Academy, because if the game goes into late, if both teams end up scaling, HypE Esports looking scarier right now with their composition. So on the side of Glacial Academy, I am looking at them to be the ones to be proactive, to make moves, to try and find advantages somewhere on the map here. And one thing I notice here in the Silver division as compared to the Noxus and Demacia divisions, we are not seeing as much objective trading here. A lot of times in the Gold divisions, when we see a Drake being taken by one team, we often see the other team just responding immediately, going to Herald, taking an objective. We're not seeing that as much here in Silver. Instead, the teams contesting the objectives a lot more, feeling like they might be able to try and get a steal or might be able to get a fight here. So the Herald able to survive for now, and I do think Glacial Academy will need to take that Herald to sort of return fire, find their own way back into the game a little bit here, as Perrier not seeming to be able to find himself much ganks for now after the early rough start there. We do see Epic Gamer sneaking in. They have the flank position, but the Kiana will knock them back. Bot lane though, fights breaking out top lane, as well as Period looking for a gank. Bot lane, Fluff gets smashed, barely getting out alive, and Ronin somehow in the mid lane managed to ring around the rosies. A good flash to keep himself alive despite the gank, and despite the gank across the fights breaking out all across the map. Nobody going down for now, and now Period going after Epic Gamer. Does use the flash. The Kindred ultimate is available here, so they could potentially look for the fight. King Tyrus backing Period up here, but Tommy Peppers is out of mana. I don't think they win this, and Epic Gamer gonna go down to King Tyrus. Now Rings showing up. It's gonna be a 2v2, but it's still the same problem. Tommy Peppers no damage. Ronin has somehow wrapped himself back around, and Period gonna be the one to pick Rings up. 2 kills for Glacial Academy. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for that team. And now they're going to be able to rotate themselves straight to Herald here. It looked so promising initially. Ronin pulling off the great escape, getting himself to safety, getting his way out of there, despite getting ganked by 3-Pit Gamer. A beautiful wraparound, but unfortunately you guys got turned. And now in the bot lane, Ramilux getting snared up once again. Enchanted Crystal Arrow just coming out to buy time, stop the engage for now. And we do see Glacial Academy picking up the Herald, but they're going to lose King Tyrus for this, because Epic Gamer is just going to go non-stop. Can he pick Period up as well? He does manage to shut him down. That's 150 gold bounty, as well as 1v2, getting 2 kills for himself. He's 4-3-0. All the kills sitting on Epic Gamer right now, and he better make it count, because nobody else on his team has any kills. And what a roller coaster of a game 2 here. At first it looked like HypE Esports playing really well, getting themselves ahead. Then Glacial Academy firing back, picking up 2 kills as well as the Herald, and then they overstay or they don't take it quite fast enough. Ronin not there to assist, and Epic Gamer able to fire back and even things back up. Both teams neck to neck. Their gold is almost completely even. Their towers both 0 apiece. Their objectives, 1 major neutral objective to each team, and kills even right now. It's anybody's game here. Mazir lane and Bombar in this bot lane, starting to pull ahead a little bit, up a bit of CS, about 2 waves here, up about 500 gold. When we take a look at the mid lane, Ronin also able to find tiny bits of gold leads, but more than anything else, just shows that Ronin right now enjoying the mid lane. In the river though, Period gonna use the infinite duress, engaging onto Epic Gamer, but he might be in a little too deep here. His bot lane was not able to support. Bombar gonna have to use his flash to get out, and it just came up not too long ago from the previous 4-man collapse into the bot lane, and it's gonna go out almost right away. Mazir also not in position, and this might mean the second Drake might also go the way of HypE Esports here. Very similar to that first Drake, with the bot lane having to burn flashes to survive, and Period going down as well. They are in position. Tommy's there, Epic Gamer there as well, Ramilux and Fluff all in the area. And Period did go down, so it's running out of base right now. Can Ronin buy time? Does have the ultimate available. And Enchanted Crystal Arrow gonna come out, gonna whiff, but it will be able to zone out Ronin at least. And that's all they need for now. Unfortunately, the Kiana ultimate not gonna find anybody. Epic Gamer gonna go in, and Fluff gets smashed, gonna flash out, but the ultimate from Kindred is here, as well as Rings. He did teleport, will be able to join the team, and that's gonna be 2 kills, 3 kills going the way of HypE Esports. Looking like a smash right now. They picked themselves up the Mountain Drake. They picked themselves 3 kills. Ronin just running back to the mid lane. Content to farm. He wanted no part of that fight. His ultimate was already whiffed. Did not catch anybody. Did not want that. Saw the huge tree coming down and was just like, nope, right out of there. And will now go back to base And Tommy Pepper is able to close up that lead a little bit there in the mid lane with some of those kills. And if we look at Epic Gamer, he's the richest person in the game. 6 kills, no longer 100% kills, but still holding 100% kill participation here. Absolutely massive. Epic Gamer just putting the team on his back and carrying right now. And to be fair, his team's not much of a burden at all. They are making moves as well. Great teleport from Rinks to make sure they secure the win in that team fight. And he gets back to lane, loses only really 1 plate off that turret, so he doesn't lose much at all. In gold, still even despite teleporting and leaving the lane, only really down a bit of experience here. But even if he's down a bit of experience, he is still doing decently in items. Does not have his first completed item yet, but the Bomby Cinder able to put some damage back onto King Tyrus. And HypE Esports just seems to have Glacial Academy's number this game. Just seems to know and be in position to counteract everything that Glacial Academy is starting. Now Herald being dropped into the mid lane here. They're going to have to walk in, but Epic Gamer has arrived. Imperial is kind of low. We will see the flash from Epic as he looks for the kill, but Infinite DRS to escape from Perrier right now. The ult going to be used defensively, and it will be good. Will save him there, because Epic not going to be able to get the extra pop of damage from the 3-stack. And with that, Shelly gonna go down. Did manage to get a bit of damage onto the mid lane turret, it looks like there, but will not be able to take it down. And that's Herald potentially even wasted a little bit there, because they couldn't really shove it in. Didn't have enough support to follow up on with it. And Glacial Academy is trying to make the moves, but unfortunately they just can't seem to find it. Ornhorn being sounded out here will not. They will with the second call off the Ornhorn, and they're just going to go down to the Nature's Advance. Epic Gamer going down there. I don't think he expected the amount of turret damage. Did not use the ultimate there. And so will end up going down, giving a kill over to King Tyrus, I believe, on the kill there. And now Perrier getting collapsed on once again in the jungle. Tommy looking to see if he can get a kill. Yes, he can. Bombard going in 1v2 using that Swain ultimate. He's got the sustain. The ignite comes down actually a little bit late, as Bombard has already done the bulk of his healing there. And it's going to just be 1 kill for HypE Esports. And Perrier really shouldn't be that aggressively positioned right now when his team is that far behind. So easy to get collapsed on top lane. Rink's going to pick up the first turret for the side of HypE Esports here. The first turret of the game did go down in the bot lane to Glacial Academy. Did help close that gold lead a little bit. Still going to be about a 2,500 gold lead though. 2,800 for the side of HypE Esports for now. And hopefully it will translate to items, because right now it's just mostly sitting in their inventories. Kindred, Epic Gamer able to pick himself up the Hurricane as well as the Blood Razor item there for himself. So he's already got 2 items. Will be able to do quite a bit of damage, well ahead of the curve here with the gold. In the mid lane, Tommy Pepper's matching Ronin there in terms of getting their first items, but does have the Shark Boots as well with the Luden's Echo. Is going to be able to start doing quite a bit with the Command Shockwave and Dissonance. And HypE Esports going to start the Herald up, going to shred it down. Infinite Duress going to be used to get over the wall, but he did not manage to get the Herald, I don't believe. No, it's going to be Epic Gamer who got that one there, and we do see the Kindred ultimate will not be enough to keep him alive. Will go down, as now Ring stuck in the pit with 4 as well. Ronin gonna chase, and he's gonna take the Blastcomb back over. Might be able to pick Perrier up. No, he will not, because it was ultimately a 2v4. And we've seen this situation before. Previously, it was Glacial Academy picking up the Herald and losing 2. This time it's going to be HypE picking up the Herald and losing 2. But they do manage to get at the Herald, and it's going to be on to Epic Gamer there. So we'll have to see where they drop it and which turret they decide to crack there. And yeah, so just talking about item leads before that. In the bot lane, not a significant item lead here for either team. We do see the Essence Reaver and the Zerker's Greaves completed for Ramalux, but on the other hand, we're seeing the Stormrazor and Boost of Swiftness completed from Azir as well. So the bulk of the difference right now just mostly coming from the jungle here. The lanes themselves fairly even in terms of items, and the gold lead really closed up after those kills there. The huge shutdown onto Epic Gamer was absolutely massive for the side of Glacial Academy, closing that gold gap. HypE Esports, though, gonna continue their stranglehold on these Drakes, picking themselves up the third Drake of the game. And it's gonna be Inferno, so they could potentially be looking at it Inferno so if the game keeps going on. And right now, they're picking up Drakes almost on cooldown here. As soon as it spawns, they pick it up. They're gonna drop Shell in that mid lane. They're gonna look to crack that inner turret. It worked so well for Glacial Academy in Game 1 when they managed to get all the turrets down, so they might potentially look for it here in Game 2. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming out onto Ronan. He's getting absolutely shredded. Will go down. 3-pick able to pick that up. Wild Growth coming across to keep him alive. The Kindred Ultimate not available. Command Shockwave able to pick Bombar up as well. And Shelly did manage to get the charge down. They're going to do a repeat of Game 1 on the blue side as they take down both the outer and inner turrets in the mid lane. Picking up 2 as well to boot. So HypE Esports getting themselves a lead, putting themselves firmly in the driver's seat here. Well played from them, and Kindred starting to get the mark stacking, has 5 marks already stacked up for himself, and a much better ADC game here for Epic Gamer in Game 2. Tommy Pepper still, the man is a monster. 3-0-4, still has yet to die. We saw that in Game 1 as well. Basically surviving extremely well even in a losing matchup. He does not want to go down. Rami Lux as well, 1-0-5, yet to die as well. And to be fair, part of it's just not a lot of action in that bot lane right now. And Epic Gamer did spend quite a bit of attention supporting them, blowing the flashes of Mazir lane and Bombar repeatedly as well. It's 20 minutes into the game now. Baron has spawned here. Quick look at the vision will show us that on the side of Glacial Academy, they don't have vision. I don't think they were expecting an instant 20-minute take, but we do see that HypE Esports has started it up. Epic Gamer is shredding it right now. They do have quite a bit of damage. No Blade of the Ruined King here for Rami Lux, but they don't need it. Just able to train it down, and that's going to be potentially the earliest Drake we've seen, the earliest Baron, pardon me, we've seen here in the Coalition. 20 minutes and 44 seconds here, going to be the time on that Baron buff, and with that, HypE Esports can look to just shove into any turret here. Glacial Academy gonna respond. It looks like they're trying to base race a little bit. They're looking for the mid lane. They're gonna keep on shoving. King Tyru's under that turret alone, but he has to be careful. Orn Horn being sounded. He's gonna try and defend this. He might have stepped out a little bit too far. We'll get the second caster, but it's only gonna be an Epic Gamer, and he's gonna get absolutely shredded down there. This is not a base race. Glacial Academy are going to win. HypE Esports already taken the inner turret. They have Baron buff. They have the Baroned up Siege Minion. They're onto the inhibitor turret. They're going to get the inhibitor almost guaranteed here for themselves. Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to shoot across the map, looking to try and stop the base of Mazir. Mazir will sidestep, get a little bit of damage onto the inhibitor turret here. And now Period getting shredded down. He's deep in onto Rami Lux here. The sustain is good. The flash, so the volley went the wrong way. Doesn't matter. They'll pick him up, and Ronan gonna get burst down, trying to go after Tommy Peppers. They split their focus, and it's just a mess right now. As HypE is gonna keep on pushing. This could be game at 22 minutes. They've got both Nexus turrets down. They're onto the Nexus. They've got 2 Baroned up Siege minions here for themselves. That's game. One of the fastest games we've seen here in the Silver Division. Words fail me right now. 16-6, the final score, 22-18, and it looked. Yes, HypE Esports was in control. Yes, it looked good for them, but for them to just pick up the Baron and instantly drive home to win the game, that was just amazing decision-making from the side of HypE Esports, and Glacial Academy just caught a little split right there, trying to decide whether they wanted to try and trade or whether they wanted to base, sending King Tyrus alone into 5. That does not work at 20 minutes. One person cannot hold a turret, and you can't base race a Baroned up team. Just really, really unfortunate here for the side of Glacial Academy on the win. And HypE Esports, we said it after game 1, their mental is strong. They've been in this situation before, but we've seen them bounce back amazingly well, and they did so here in game 2. So I'm super excited to go into game 3. We've seen Glacial Academy in the lead and how well they can close out a game. We've now seen them on the losing side and whether or not they could really come back, whether or not they could bounce back and try and hold into the game. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they can, but now we are going to get to see if they can come back after getting absolutely smashed here in Game 2. I'm super hyped to see us going into Game 3 here. Unfortunately, I don't have Silver Grapes. I don't know if it's DMCA or not, so I won't be able to play it, but still super excited going here into Game 3, and we are going to go into short intermission while we set up for it, and we'll see you all in a couple of minutes here.